Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. It's me Anil and we are in the series of online food ordering website using ASP.NET. In previous video, that is part number 5, we have seen the product page where we have done product insertion as well as displaying the product, and we have done product updation as well as product deletion. Okay, so in today's video, that is part number 6, we are going to see user registration in user module. This is a admin module. Okay, then now after that we'll move to the user module. In that we're going to create page for registration, that is user registration. Okay, so let's close this one. Go to Solution Explorer. Right click on user folder. We're going to create a page in user folder because we want user registration in user module. So right click on user folder, click on add, then select your Webform with master page. Let's keep the page name as registration. Okay, now we need to select the master page. We are creating for user, so user master page is present inside the user folder. So just select the master page, click on OK. Now here we'll take some code. Control KD, it will go to align the code. So here I have taken session tag. In that I have taken the class, that is bootstrap class, book section, layout padding. Within that I have taken div tag, the class container. Within that I have taken another div tag with the class heading container. Inside this heading container we have taken one div tag with the class align self end. What happened here, it will align the code at the end, that is the label. In the label control we are displaying the message at the runtime. Okay, so that's why we have taken a label. After that again there is one label. The first label ID is LBL message. This again label ID is LBL header message, and here it displays user registration in the text with the header tag, that is H2. But you can see when I hover on the label control, says like there is something missing here, compilation error. But in previous video we have faced the same error. So it was solved when we close our Visual Studio and open it again. The problem was solved. So let's do that. First save the file that which we have created. Okay, then close it and open it again. Save it. Now once I have opened the Visual Studio, you can see the error that we are getting on the label control. Now it's not there. Okay, the problem was solved just by closing the Visual Studio and open it again. Okay, so after this div tag I have taken another div tag with the class row. Now in this div tag we are going to take all the controls like fields we are going to use. That is our form design for the registration, user registration. Okay, so here we'll take that. So first let's take div tag. Let's keep the class here. take another div tag, class form form underscore container. Okay, let's copy this code, this div tag code, copy and give some space and paste it here. Because we are going to take two columns, like one for the half, that is column of 6 in medium size of the screen, and the other part, the rest of half, that is 6, that is 6 column. Okay, the row is divided into two parts, that is when the first part is of column 6 and the other part is column 6. Okay, let's take div tag here first, then let's take text box control, go to toolbox, take text box, can drag and drop or just double click on it, it will going to display here. Let's change the text box ID, txt name, CSS class, that is form control, then placeholder, enter full name, here we'll take tooltips, we'll give your full name. Now we'll take required field validator for this text box, go to toolbox, validation, required field validator, double click on it, let's change ID here, required field validator, that is shortcut, naming convention I am taking here, and that is name, and for the error message let's change it, name is required. Now for this control we are going to take this validation, that is control to validate is to txt name, ID should be same here, enter, let's give full color, that is red, after that display property, that is dynamic, then set focus on error equals to true. Now we want to take regular expression validator for this for the name, double click on it, let's rename ID regular expression validator name, let's change error message, name must be in characters, export color, display dynamic, set focus on so let's copy this and paste it here. After that we want validation expression as well. Here let's take, so this is the expression that we are going to use here. Okay, that is it will take all characters, that is from alphabet A to Z, which is in small as well as in capital. Okay, after that the main property left is left, that is control to validate, for which control we are taking this, that is txt name. Copy, paste, save it. Okay, now we can run this page and we can see in browser how it will look. So you can see a page how it will look in browser. So the text, the label we have taken, that is the text inside that is user registration, and one text box that we have taken, that is for full name. Okay, now after that we are going to take, this is the first half in which we have taken one text box, and the remaining half block is left, we will do it later, but in the first half we are going to take some controls, then we are going to come back to this, the other half. Okay, so after first text box, that is for full name, we are going to take control for username. Okay, then email, mobile number and all. Okay, so go back to Visual Studio, copy this div tag, copy, then paste it here. Now let's change the ID, txt username, copy this ID and paste it here, control to validate here. As well as here. Okay, we didn't paste the here, control to validate, let's paste it, save it. Now let's change the placeholder, enter username, sorry, not the username, let's copy this username, now username, and here in tooltip let's take it username, as well as your username is required in error message for required field validator control, and same for your for this regular expression. I don't think so, like we want this regular expression for this username, so we're going to remove it. Okay, now let's change the ID here. Save it, go back to our browser, refresh it, and see another text box is there. Now let's take our email, copy this div tag code, place it here, let's change the text box ID, txt email, paste here control to validate, copy email, enter email, in tooltip email, and here in error message email is required, save it. Let's change this ID, required field validator email, save it, refresh. Okay, after that we want mobile number. In that we want regular expression validator as well, so we'll copy this first one, that is for the name. Copy it and paste it here. Let's change ID txt mobile, copy this and let's change the placeholder, enter mobile number, let's change ID, require field validator mobile number is required, and here txt mobile is txt mobile. Okay, let's change this ID, regular expression validator for mobile. Okay, and in error message mobile number must be or must have 10 digits. To change this expression, so it will take numbers, that is 0 to 9, and it will take only 10 digits. Okay, let's change ID here, save it, refresh. Okay, when you hover on this can see tooltip is coming, that is mobile number, email, username, full name. Okay, now we have completed the first half. Now we're going to take controls in the second half part. Okay, so we'll copy the code. We have form container here, so we'll copy this div code here. Okay, this select all, copy and paste it here. Now need to change ID one by one. Now we need to take the control for address, txt address, copy and let's paste where it is needed. In we want here the control to validate property, txt name, take txt address, and we don't want this regular expression for this address, so let's remove this. Copy, enter address, field editor, address is required, that's it. And here we are taking text box for address, but here we need to specify the text mode, that is multi-line. Save it. Refresh. Okay, we got here this text box that is for address. We can drag it. Okay, now let's change all these three controls. After address, we want postcode or zip code, so let's take it here. Let's give here this id txt, postcode. Let's copy this id, paste it here. Postcode, enter post or say zip code. Okay, and we'll copy the same for this tooltip. Let's change id here. Field related, postcode, and here error message, postcode or this zip code is required. Okay, and the postcode, that is its number, right? We're going to take one property for this text box, that is text mode equals to number, that will allow only numbers to enter a text box. Okay, so we want this for mobile number also, where we have taken the mobile, this here. But in postcode we want regular expression validator as well. Okay, so we'll copy from here, copy and paste it here. Let's change id, regular expression validator, postcode, message we want to display post or zip code must be of 6 digits, because usually the zip code or postcode is of 6 digits only. Okay, that's why we are taking the 6 digits, and in expression we need to change that here instead of 10 going to take 6. That's it. Because we want the number should be from 0 to 9, and it will the total numbers it allows, that is 6 digits. Okay, and it will change your ID, that is txt postcode. Save it. Now refresh. So you will get your postcode. Okay, now if you enter here any alphabet or like letters, can't enter here. If you enter numbers, it will allow to enter numbers. Okay, now after postcode, we'll take for the image upload the control, that is file upload control. So we'll remove here this text box and required field editor. We'll take file upload control, but when we are running the project, we can't get that toolbox from which we can drag and drop our control. So we'll type it manually here. AST file upload. Let's close it. Now let's keep ID file upload user image. Then it's server. Class, that is form control. Tooltip. User image. Then on change. Will call the function that we have used in category as well as in product page. So let's open a design page of product. Okay, so we want this code. Let's copy this whole script. This is for like label message disappearing, and the second one that is for image preview. Okay, so let's copy it and paste it above content. First one, paste it here, save it. Okay, need to change here the ID. Okay, we'll see later when we take the image control. Now we want to here the postcode here. You need to call that function name, that is image preview, and within the bracket we need to pass this keyword as well as semicolon, because we are calling a function. Okay, JavaScript function, that's why we need to have here semicolon. Okay, do it next time. Save it. Okay, so file upload we have done. After that, we want for password. So let's change ID here. PHP password. Copy. Enter password. particular expression, so we are going to remove. Save it. But here in text box, we are going to take one property, that is text mode is equal to password, so that when we type password, it should be hidden. That means we can't see the actual what we are setting the password. It will going to make it asterisk, means we are able to see only asterisk or dot dot what we are typing in the control password. Okay, save it. Now let's refresh in browser. Okay, we don't have this ID, so that's why it's giving an error. So we'll see that now let's take a div tag. In that we'll take a button for like a registration button, and another div tag will take a image for like displaying the preview of image. Okay, so after the end of this div tag, we'll take your another div tag. So here we'll take a div tag, within that another div tag, and in that we'll take one button as well as one label control. So let's take it. So here in this div tag I have taken the class row, padding left of 4. Within that I have taken another div, the class btn box, so the button will be in box shape. Okay, and here this button control I have taken with the ID btn register and text as register, class here booster class btn success, and it's a rounded fill with the padding left 4 and padding right 4, and the text color is in white color. Okay, and I've taken here label control with the ID lbl already user, and some booster plus over here, and the text already registered. Then it will going to show an anchor tag. Within that I have taken href, where it will take when we click on that, it will take us to the login page. Right now we don't have any login page, we'll create it later. Then booster class I have taken here, that is badge info, that is in blue color. Okay, the text for the anchor tag is login here. That means after all this text already registered, it will going to display a link. Okay, where it will display login here. When we click on this link, it will take us to the login page. Okay, now we have to take another div tag, where we are going to take the image control for the preview of image. Okay, let's take it. So here taken the div tag, the class row padding 5, and then in that I have taken another div tag, the style I have given here the inline css, that is align item center. Within that I have taken the image control. You can stop this project, and from the toolbox get the image as well as this button as well as the label control. Okay, so the image taking here, that is ASP.NET image control, not the HTML image control. In product page as well as for the category page, the image control there I have taken, that is HTML image control. We can show you here the product page for displaying the image. I have taken. Okay, so here okay I have taken ASP.NET control image, where I have taken the image, that is HTML. Here in this one repeater control I have taken HTML image control. Okay, so here we are going to take .NET image control. Okay, so with the ID I am the user, and the class booster class I have taken, that is image hyphen thumbnail. Okay, save it, and make sure the ID should be same what we have taken here, and as well as the ID that we have taken here. Okay, that is there we have taken image ing user copy. Let's change here ID ing user, save it. After saving, let's open browser. Now refresh it. Okay, now can you see this now when we click on button it will go do nothing, but first it will go to validate what validation we have taken. You can see for text box the validations displaying below that control, but it takes some space in between, and the same for all controls which didn't look good, right? So that's why we're going to move this required field validator to the above to the text box. Means first we'll take required field validator, then regular expression validator, then we'll take text box. Okay, then it will look proper. So let's change it for every control. So cut this text box control from the above and paste it after this one. Yeah, just save it and let's check in browser, refresh. Now click on register. Now this is showing proper, but when I press here some numbers, you can see name must be in characters only. Okay, that means it's working properly here. Okay, now let's do it for every control. Just replace the line, select the control, this control code, that is the text box. Just press Alt down arrow, it will take us to the below line. Okay, let's do the same for this Alt below arrow. Okay, done. Now let's refresh the browser. Now click on button. Okay, now it's showing proper, and let's check whether it's validating the data that we are entering or not. I am taking your letter. Now if I click on some other control or outside the control, that error message has been gone. If I press here any number and press outside somewhere, it will see, you can see name must be characters only. That means it can't take the numbers. Okay, and here for the address, like it will take address. Okay, and the username, that is gone, and for the postcode, it's of 6 digits. You can see it's gone. So it will give 5, it will give us error. That code must be of 6 digits. If I give more than 6, that is 7 digits, still the error will be there. Okay, email, you need to pass your email. If you just type any name, it will Okay, so here we need to give here the validation for the email. Here in text box, here you need to take here text mode email, save it. Now refresh. Now press this register. You can see mobile number is required. You can see relation here, pitch of 10 dates, password 18. Now here for the file upload, that this is optional part. That means like the user want to upload their profile image at the time of registration or not. It's not mandatory, like they can upload or they can upload it later. Okay, and we click here, you can see here at the bottom left, you can see the URL is forming user login. That means if we click it will take us to the login page, but right now we don't have any page with the name login, so it will give error, that is resource cannot found, because we don't have any page for that. Okay, so that means like validation is working. Now you want to implement, when we click on the button it will insert it, but this page we are going to use for updation, like when we in future videos we are going to make a video for profile, like where user can edit their profile. Like when they want to edit their profile details, like they will click on button for edit, it will take the user to this page. Okay, so this page it will go to take, and here it will going to fill all the records of the user, and there they can add their record. So that means we are going to use this form for two purposes. One for the first, that is for insertion. Okay, that is for user registration. Another, that is updation of a user profile. Okay, that means we are going to write code on the button click event for two things, like for the insertion of the user, that is user registration, and the second one, that is profile updation. Okay, let's close this. Okay, let's create a button click event. This register button. On click, create new event. Save it. You can see here in the code behind page, this event has been generated. Now here I have taken some CSS classes. First we need to import the namespace. Control dot. First one, same for data table. So I'm pasting here some code. So in this button code I have taken two logic. One logic is for user registration, and the second logic is for user profile updation. Okay, so let's type this pass manually. this clear function. So let's create it. Press control dot. It will tell us generate method registration dot clear. In the registration page it will create the clear method here. So I am pressing some code here. So whatever the controls that we have taken, I have taken here and set the value as string.empty. Okay, so we have taken name, username, mobile, email, address, postcode, password, all controls we have in the registration form that we have taken here. Okay, now let's see what we have taken here in the code. First of all, I have taken three string variable, that is action name, image path, file extension. Okay, that we I think we have seen in product as well as category page also. We have taken the same variable, one full variable, that is validate to execute, set the value as false, and here for the string variable I have set the empty. Okay, now after that, like here in that product as well as category I have taken the value from the hidden value, but here we'll want to get the value from query string. That means when the user about to edit their profile, like when they click on edit, it will come to this page. That means that will send some query string value, so with the name ID. So we're going to fetch that value, that is the user ID, like which user we want to edit their detail. So we're going to get the user ID. So that's why we'll take here as an integer for the storing this user ID, but after converting that value into integer. Okay, after that we have taken the SQL connection, and the SQL connection is coming from this connection string, this method get connection string. Okay, so with the help of this class, means in this class we have this function. With this help function we are getting the connection string from the web.config file. Okay, and in SQL command we are calling the store procedure. Right now we don't have this store procedure, we'll create in a moment. And this store procedure will going to take some parameters that we have defined here, and let's see one by one. The first, that is for insert or update, it will select which one has to be here for the action based on this user ID value. Means if it is 0, okay, at that time it will going to take it here this insert, okay, or else it will going to update. Okay, and here for the user ID we pass user ID for the name, that is coming from the name control, username, mobile, email, address, postcode, and password. All controls we have passed here. Now we need to check for the image file. Need to pass the image parameter as well, but here it is an optional. So first, like if the user has selected the image, first it need to check whether the control has some file or not. If it has file, then it will going to come inside this if block. So first here, after like it got that the file control has some file, right? After that it will going to check like the file which file is selected, that is useful for us, like for uploading that file. That means the file that is selected, whether it's valid or not. Means the extension, we are selecting the image, but in image many types of there like extension there. So we want specific extension, that is PNG, JPG, JPEG. So we want three type of image format. Okay, so it will check here, and this function we have already done in our previous video. Okay, and we have already used this in product page as well as in category page. Okay, so here the same code that we have seen in that previous video. Okay, first it will going to create an object here, object value from the grid class, that is a unique value, and then it will going to get the file extension from the file name. Okay, and it will form the image path. Okay, right now we don't have this folder user, so let's create it in our images folder. created. Now it will first get the path from this, and it will going to save the file in user folder, and here will pass the parameter for image URL, that is image path, and that the actual path like where the image is saved, that path we are sending. Okay, then is valid to execute variable bsf2, and else like it is not valid image. Okay, we will going to display the message, please select in this format, okay, of the image, or else like it will do the execution based on like whether image is selected or not. Okay, so here first we have to define like whether this type of command type, that is store procedure, we are using here. Okay, and here after that it will going to open the connection, then it will going to execute it, and in action name it will going to save some value, string value. Okay, but it is like based on conditional based value it will going to store. So based on the user ID, if it is 0, if it is when the user ID is 0, it will going to save this value. If it is not 0, means like user want to edit their profile details, at that time this value will be going to save in this action name. Okay, so in the first one, if it is 0, means the user is doing the registration, at that time this message will going to display registration is successful, and the bold that is HTML tag in bold, it will going to call this anchor tag, that it will give the link to redirect to the login page. The text is click here, okay, to do the login. So it will display the text registration is successful, click here to do login. Okay, so it's an anchor tag, so it will be a link, and whether when we click on click here to do login, it will take us to the login page for the login process. Okay, like if it is profile updation, at that time it will going to display this data, that is details updated successful, and this like check here. When we click on this link, it will take us to the profile page. Right now we don't have this page, so we'll create some other video, not in this video. Okay, and but before displaying the message in label control, we need to first make it visible. First we make it visible to false. Okay, now here like we want to display the text message, so in bold we have taken that is the name of the user. We are getting the name of the user from the text box, that this user, whatever the message that we are going to display, is registered successfully, or like details, the user of that details has been updated successfully. Okay, so based on that it will going to form this message dynamically. Okay, then it will like apply the bootstrap class. Now here first it will check like the user ID is not equal to 0. That means when the user is updating their profile, so it go back to the profile page. For that, like it is checking here, if it is not 0, that means user is updating their profile. So that means user need to taken back to the profile page from like where they came from. Okay, so it will, after updation, it will go back to the profile page after 1 second. That means when the profile updation is done, it will going to display the message that that particular user details has been updated successful, and after 1 second it will going to take the user to the profile page. That will call this clear, like if it go directly to the profile page, then it will going to stop all the execution, or like if it is in the same page, means if it is for user registration, at that time this code will not going to execute, then it will going to call the clear function. In clear function, it will going to clear all the fields or controls data from it. Okay, suppose if some exception is generated, we need to catch that exception here. it will going to find here if it is of type SQL exception, then it will going to catch in this catch block, or else it will going to catch in this block. Okay, so if it is SQL exception, then it will going to call this if block. So first here it will check the exception message contains violation of unique key constraint. Why we are taking here, we are taking a one field that is username, and we want that username should be unique. Okay, so at the time of the table creation of the user, for the column username, we have provided that column it should be unique, means that when the data is to be inserted or entered in that column, that data should be unique, means no repetition of the same data done there. Okay, that means like if you are entering some same username, at that time it will going to give us SQL exception that it violation of the unique key constraint. That's why we are provided that this message, and it will check in the message if we are containing this same message. That means that the user has entered the same username which is already assigned to someone. Okay, suppose I am giving the username as Anil. Okay, and the other user who is trying to take that username, means like while registration or updating, suppose he have taken Anil, but Anil username is assigned to me, and some other user, when he is trying to take that username, it will going to display message to them like this username already exists, try new one. Okay, if it is other exception other than this SQL exception, then it will going to call in this block. Okay, where it will going to display the actual exception message. Okay, and finally it will go to close the connection. Okay, so let's run and see. We need to create that store procedure first. Okay, we need to stop it first. Now let's create the store procedure that we are using here, that is user CRUD. Okay, and yeah, let's create the store procedure first. So open your SQL Server Management Studio, or whatever like you are using. Like if you don't have SQL Server Management Studio, can you create a database inside this Visual Studio itself, that is local database, can use that also. But I am using in my case that is SQL Server Management Studio, that is external tool for SQL database. Okay, so I have opened that SQL Server Management Studio tool. Now can create your store procedure by going here, like right click on the store procedure. It will get an option store procedure. It will give you some basic syntax of creating the store procedure, so you can use this for creating it, but I will do it by by new query. Like when we click on new query, it will open a blank SQL file. Okay, here I will going to provide this store procedure code. Okay, so it will generate our store procedure. So I am pasting the code of store procedure here. So now you can so now you know like how to create a store procedure. In previous video I have shown till now I have shown two store procedure, like how to create. The first one that is for category, and the second that is for product, and the third one now that is for user. Okay, so I am taking the procedure name here, user CRUD, and this is a keyword for creating and what we are creating procedure. So that's why the procedure. Okay, and we need to take some parameter. So we have taken here some parameter, that is section, user ID, name, username, mobile, email, address, postcode, password, image URL. That means all the columns that present in our table for the user we have taken here as a parameter, and this additional parameter that is for action, means which action we need to perform, like which action, based on that action we need to execute the query. Okay, so that's why we have taken this action parameter here. Now here, like I have given the data type the same that we have taken for the table. That means for the image URL varchar max, password varchar 50, postcode varchar 50, address varchar max, email varchar 50, mobile varchar 50, username varchar 50, name varchar 50, and for the user ID that is of integer, and all the values I have set to null. Okay, now let's see, like if it is for select for login, that means we are taking the select query that is going to use for login. That's why we have given action name as select for login, and here what I have done, select star from table, that is user, select star from user, where username is this one and password is this one. Like when we are about to log in, we are going to call this one actions query, where we are going to pass the username as a parameter and the password. Okay, so based on that, this both parameter, that is username and password, it will going to get all the details of the user from the user table. The second one, that is for select for profile, like when we are about to display data in profile page, at that time we are going to call this one. Okay, where it will going to find the details of the user based on the user ID. Okay, and after that, for registration we are taking this insert one. Okay, so it will going to like insert the user details that we have passed in the parameters. Okay, and here you can see we didn't pass some value to the image URL. Okay, at that time, that means it will going to pass here null. You can see the default value I have taken here null. If the image URL we didn't pass, it will going to insert as null to the column image URL. Okay, if it is we pass or taken the image at the time of registration, it will going to pass the path of the image in image URL column. Okay, so it will going to insert all the columns data in their columns, and like when the user want to update their profile, at that time we're going to call this action with the name update. Okay, so here while updating, it will first check like whether the image URL is null or not. That means if it is null, then the value will be here no. If it is not null, then the value will be here yes. So based on yes or no value, yes or no condition, it will going to update particular or call the this particular update query. Yeah, the first update query, that is without the image URL, means here we will not going to update the image column, image URL column, and here in this update we are going to update the image URL as well with other columns that like the name, username, mobile, email, address, postcode, and email URL. Here we are going to call all the columns except the image URL. Okay, so here the second last action that we have taken here, select for admin. We are using this select query like for the admin module. In admin modules, like we want to display the user details, okay, in the user page. So for that, like I have taken this one, where it will go to get the numbers, row number, means how many users were there. It will go to display the number in the column serial number, that is SR number. Okay, then the user ID, username, name, that is name, that full name, and the username, email, and when the user has been registered, that date. Okay, and in admin, like admin has a right to delete the user if they want. Okay, so there is taken an action for delete also, delete from table users, where user ID is this one. Okay, what we pass as a parameter for the user ID, it will take that and want to delete that particular user. So we want to execute or create this store procedure. So let's click on execute. It will going to create. So our store procedure has been created. We want to check it. So let's select our store procedure and refresh here. Now we will see this store procedure for the user product. You can check here, click on modify, it will go to open the store procedure that we have created just now. Okay, and you know, like in SQL, how we do the comment by using this hyphen, two hyphen, and the comment part. Okay, like what message we need to display in comment. Okay, so this is the comment part for understanding. Let's close this. Okay, close this one. We need to save it because we have already that code in our this show procedure. Okay, let's go back to our Visual Studio. Now let's go back to Visual Studio. Now let's run our project and see. Okay, now let's do it. This time I'm not selecting the image. Okay, for that let's add a breakpoint on the button click event. Now click on register button. Okay, we are unable to click on the button register user master page. Let's search for form. So here this first form is used here. Click on next. Okay, can see here we have another form tag, the same master page. Okay, starting we have that, but here also we have. That's why when we click on button, that button click event is not raising that event. Okay, so that's why we need to first remove this or get rid of this form tag. Okay, so let's do comment this form tag, or let's take here div tag instead of form. So we are going to replace here also, save it, and let's refresh this page. Now let's enter. Now let's click on register. Now it's came here, so press F10. We'll move forward. This is how like we do the debugging part. By this way, like we can come to know like what the value we are passing and what the value we are getting. So we'll come to know where the actual problem or error we are getting when we are facing any problem. So now let's check here ID for this user ID. Now you can see there is no ID, that means there is no value passed from the query string. That's why it's showing here 0. Why is 0? Because it's an integer, like when there is no value we have given to the integer, by default it is 0. Okay, so that's why user ID value is 0, and here we get the connection from the connection class, the method get connection string. It will take some time, then it will go back to that Visual Studio again. Okay, now press F10. So we are image file for the file up to control, right? So it will not going to call this if block, it will go directly to the else block. So here the value of this variable is set to true, and here now it will check whether if it is true, then it will going to call this if block, or else it will going to come out of this. Okay, so but here it will is true, that means it will going to call or execute this if block code. So it will get the first command type, that is store procedure. Now here it will try block, it will first open the connection is open. Now it will going to execute the store procedure, that is also done. Now based on the condition, it will going to fetch which value, the first one or the second one. Because the user ID is 0, so it will going to get the first one. Let's see, press F10. Now you can see here in action values, registration is successful. This one, the first one the value we is get stored in this section. Now let's make the label control as visible to true. Now here it will going to display message in the label control. Let's see what message it is. It will going to display this name, the username, that is Anil. It will go to display in bold, then registration is successful, and in bold it will going to display click here to do login. When we click on the click here text, it will going to take us to login page. Okay, and after like 5 seconds it will going to clear this label message from the browser, because we have taken that in script code of this page, register page. Okay, here, not here, here in design page we have taken that script code. This one, this will going to display whatever the message we are displaying in LBL message, that is label control. After 5 seconds it will going to erase that message from the browser page. Okay, so now here it will check if it is not 0, but it is 0, so it will not going to call this. It will go directly to the clear function. Like if you want to see the execution of this clear function, like go click F11, it will go to this function. So everything is clear. It will come here and close the connection. You can see the Anil registration is successful. Click here to do login. If you click here on that click icon, it will take us to the login page. Okay, and after 5 seconds it has been wiped out or disappeared. Okay, now suppose I want to do registration again with the same username, like I have taken the Anil username, right? Okay, like we can see in database first, like how it will look. It's open this one, and in user table we are having that, right? So let's go to edit top, the name username as Anil. Okay, now let's try to add another user with the same username. What method it will go to display us. Okay, I'm giving anything here and taking the Anil as a username. Click on register. This time now came to the button click event. Press F10. When it is about to execute this store procedure, now here after this it will going to throw an exception, that is SQL exception. So it will going to execute this block, not this one. So after this line to go directly to this block. Okay, let's see, press F10. You can see it came back to this first catch block. So here it is of type SQL exception. You can see here the message saying violation of unique key constraint, and the name of the constraint this one here, that is cannot insert duplicate key in the object DBO user, that is inside of the table users we can't insert duplicate record. The duplicate key value is Anil. The value that we are inserting duplicate value, that is Anil. That the username we are trying to enter or insert the same data in the column of this username. Okay, the statement has been terminated. Close this. Now we press F10. It will go to first check in message whether this message has been there or not. It's there, so that's why it came inside this if block. Now it will going to display this message to the user that in text we can see the Anil username already exists, right? New one. Okay, continue. Now you can see here this Anil username already exists, try new one. After 5 seconds it will be disappear. That means the same username we can't enter. Okay, but now do one registration with the profile. That means user want to add the profile image also. Select the profile image. Open. You can see here this image control is filled what we have selected in file upload control. Okay, now let's click on register. Let's remove this breakpoint from here. Click on continue and see our registration is successful. Click here to do login. We click here, okay, it's on. We click here, it will take us to the login page that we don't have right now. Okay, so that means this page is working properly. Now we need to check whether if it is we want to update this record, user's record. Suppose if the user is in profile page and now he or she want to update their profile details. So how it will come to this page with the help of query string. So we'll pass here the query string value here, question mark ID and value as 1. Let's see, let's do it 2, because right now we have inserted the second user that contains the ID as 2. The user ID is 2. If we want to see, let's open our database and click here to select here execute SQL. Can see, okay, the ID is 3. Okay, the user ID is 3, so we'll take 3. Okay, let's take here 3, enter. But nothing happened because we didn't created any function that in which it will going to fill all the users record coming from the database. So that we need to do. So let's stop this one. Go back to our Visual Studio. And we'll take here one function. After this, so I'm pasting here some code, that is the function code that we are taking here. Get user details. So in this okay, first fix this. Okay, done. Now so what we'll do here, first it will going to fetch the connection, database connection. In that it will going to call our store procedure with the parameter xn user id. In user id it is going to get from the query string. Okay, and this action that is calling selector profile, this action we are taken for the profile only. Okay, so then it will going to describe the type, command type. Then in SQL data adapter, it will going to pass the object of the CMD. That means it will going to fetch all the details of what we have taken inside the SQL command. Okay. Now after that, it will going to initialize this object dt for the data table, and after the successful execution of the query, it will going to fill data that is coming from the store procedure. Okay, so it will going to fill in that object dt. Now dt has some value, so first it will check whether it is has any value or not, means the count is equal to 1. So in that, like if it is fetching particular user's value, means only one value we are going to get. That means here it will check the count is equal to 1. That means count should be 1. Okay, then it will going to fetch all the columns value and going to bind to the particular control of field. Okay, the first name, that is for name control, username, and mobile, email, address, postcard. And for the email, like it will first check whether it is empty or not, because we are given the option it's up to the user, like they want to add their image, profile image or not. Okay, so suppose they are not adding any profile image, that means it is null. So that's why we need to check that if it has any null or an empty value or not. Okay, if it is not, then it will going to fetch that column data and going to display here as a image URL. Okay, if it is not, then it will going to take this one, the default one, this image we are going to use for the default when there is no images there. Okay, or else it will going to this one, use this one. Okay, means it will going to add this proper path. From there it will going to fetch that actual image path and going to display in this image control. Okay, and we set the height and width, and for the password we have set the mode to the single line. Okay, and we have set the read only property to true. That means user can't like update the password when they are about to update their profile details. They can update the profile details but not the password, and we are assigning the password value to this text box password. Okay, and in the label header message where we are displaying user registration, now we want to display edit profile, because we are now editing with user profile. That's why we'll change that from user registration to edit profile. And on the button text, previously it was add. Okay, while we are doing registration, and now it was update. Okay, and then this one, the label message, like for this already user, the text we are displaying, like from there, when we click it will take us to login page, but right now we don't want that. So that's why we have removed and make that label as empty. Okay, now we need to call this method in the page load event. Yeah, so here first it will check whether it is coming from some page, like where we are passing query string with the name ID. Okay, where we are passing the query string with the name ID. So first it will check whether the query string, the name ID has some value or not. Okay, if it is not, then it will not going to call that function. So here I am pasting some code. So here first it will check not is post back. You know, like is post back. When any request has been posted to the server, it will come to know with this is post back, and we don't want any request has been posted to the server. That means we have to use exclamation, that is diminution of not is post back, means when there is no request posted to the server, at that time we're going to check here when the query string of ID is not equal to null, or we are checking for the session also. Right now we don't use this session part. Okay, this is like for the user login. Okay, so right now we don't use this. So let's remove this and we'll add outside this and we'll use it later. Okay, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, cut this and paste it outside, and let's comment it first. Ctrl KC, we'll use it later when we do login part. Okay, now let's add a breakpoint on the page load event here. Now let's run and see. So like we have added breakpoint here, so it scales directly to here, press F10. Now here it will check the query string is null or not. It's null, so that means the condition is for not null. So directly it will came to the else if. Here it will check the session is null, there is no session, and it will come out of this if block. Okay, let's continue. Now let's add here query string. This one ID is equal to 3. Now we'll click on that. It will came to this page load and click on F10. Now here it will check this query string is there. If this time it's not null, so this will this time it will going to call this function get user details. Press F10. Now we want to get inside this function, so let's press F11. Press F10. First it will open get the connection string, and want to call this show procedure and get the query string as a parameter for the user ID. And yeah, now we are using SQL data adapter. We don't want to open the connection manually. It will going to open it for itself. Okay, now in data table it will going to have some value. Go hover on data object, click on view, this magnify glass, click on it. You can see here based on that particular ID, user ID, it fetch all the details of that particular user. Okay, I pass the ID 3, that is the name of that user, that is Rahul Maurya. Okay, close it. You can see in data table, in database here the ID 3, that is for Rahul Maurya. Okay, that means it's working properly. Let's press F10. Now the count is 1, so it will going to come inside this if block. Now it will going to assign the columns value to the controls for the text. You can see the name has been assigned, so like that way it will going to assign every field value present in the registration form. Second, third. Okay, so let's move forward. Now it will come out this if block, then the outer if block. Press continue. Now you can see whatever the profile image was there for the particular that user, it has been displayed here, and the name, the address, username, email address, password, this mobile number, then this postal code and image that we are seeing here, and password. Okay, now like what we want. Okay, now we want to update it. Okay, now we want to update this record. Suppose I am taking here this first name and giving some address. Okay, we can't update the password and email. Let's add something. Okay, let's update it. Okay, like if you want to update the profile, just select the profile here and it will going to update that also. Like I don't want the profile to be updated, so let's click on update. breakpoint came here. To remove this breakpoint from here, let's add a breakpoint to the button click event. Press F10 or press continue to come here, the button click event. Now let's move forward. This time we don't have any image, so it will come out this if block. Now here it will going to open connection, then going to execute. Yeah, it's executed successful. Now this time it will display details updated successful. Okay, that means here this time the user ID can see that is 3. This time it is not 0. That means it is not 0, then it will going to call this message in this variable. Okay, now you can see the text, the Rahul, this name Rahul, details updated successful, and it will going to provide the link when we click on check here. That will take us to the profile page. Okay, that we don't have right now. Now here see this user ID is not equal to 0, then we'll execute this code in the browser. After 1 second it will going to take us to the page profile, and where we are going to get the error because we don't have this page profile right now. Okay, it will go to clear that. Continue. After that, yeah, details has been successful. After once again, go back to the profile page, but we don't have profile page. That's why it's showing results cannot be found. Go back. You can see on the based on the ID, and it gets all the records which is updated one. You can see here name and email address, phone number. If what we have updated, now it's displaying the updated record based on the ID. Okay, that means we are done with this user registration part as well as updating the profile, user profile. Okay, if you didn't subscribe my channel, please do subscribe. It motivates me to make such more videos for you. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye, take care, thank you for watching.